Welcome to the podcast, So Casted. I'm your host, Tara Lockett. Today, we are going to talk about rebuild the human soul. But like always, before I get into that, I want to remind you that mental health awareness is every single day. When we wake up, those who make it to wake up, just keep in mind that someone could be battling something you know nothing of. So it's very important that we try to express kindness as much as possible. But remember, above all, protect your peace. Now, I want to share the value note with you from Miss T Love 13. And let me remind you who T Love 13 is. T Love stands for Tara. Let us value 13. We have to understand the importance of our self value, and that's what that represents, and that's what that symbolizes. This season's theme is Don't Quit. So, with not quitting, we must understand that ethics is our guide to self discipline. And when you walk in love, LOVE, which is living on value and ethics, you get the ability, to rebuild that human soul. Now, I'm going to get a little into it and I'm going to share three things with you about, what I've learned in my journey of healing that human soul. Because trust me, my human soul needed a whole lot of healing. Now, the number one thing that's needed is to acknowledge the survival that we've made it through from our past, our present, and our future, and what we want for our life. Our past, yes, it's very difficult to confront it. However, it's important that you take the steps necessary to confront that past, because if you don't confront it, you have to understand the past pain just simply wants acknowledgement and to be released. And when we look at our past, confront our past, and then walk in the very present moment, these are things that you have to exercise and you have to work on daily. Walking in the present moment means accepting your very now moment, because the next second and moment is really never promised to us. Now, when we start doing that, we start allowing that pain to be released, acknowledged, and go. And then we get the opportunity to usher in the seeds necessary to prepare and plan for our future. And when we get to that place, then we are at a place of acknowledging. And that is the second thing I want to talk about. What are we acknowledging? Well, we have to acknowledge, number one, that a lot of what we did in our upbringing and how we operated in relationships, how we treated ourselves, how we treated our kids, how we treat others, and how we act out in social areas of our lives, then we get the opportunity to look in the mirror and say, no more shame, because our development, let's just say this. You have a different development than your upbringing. No trauma happened, and you had a good, solid foundation. You are on a pathway to do great things. Now, if you mess up on that way, then you still have to go back and find out, where did you make that mistake. Now, in our lives, I'm learning that mistakes aren't mistakes. They're just lessons that we must learn. Learn that lesson and then move on to continue your evolvement. But in order to do that, you have to understand the importance of acknowledging shame, fear, doubt, and the one that gets most of us, guilt. Guilt can eat us alive and eat us and take us all the way to our grave. I know that personally because I had the ability to see what it does to my family. And I'm sharing these things so that you can, take that step of, you've already here, so you're surviving. Now you have to take that step of, acknowledging. But now you have to go on to the next step, which is getting wisdom and understanding. When we get wisdom and understanding, we are getting wisdom and understanding of our truth. Now we go to that truth, we dig that up, as ugly as it is, and we get the opportunity, excuse me. We get the opportunity. I was trying to say ability, but we get the ability to look at the truth of who we are as humans in our nature form. And then is where we begin to walk in what is really true for us as humanity. We have to return to who we are, who we are created to be, and that is the importance of what we need when it comes to rebuilding the human soul. Remember, ethics is our personal guide to self discipline. And we want to be self disciplined because it is one of the gifts, as I talked about the 9 blood drops of self control, that we must operate in. Now, before I close, I do want to remind you of the 3 things that I talked about in the introduction episode, and that is the awakener, the unchained, and the liberator. Keep in mind that while we're going through this process in life, those 3 things will always be a part of who we are. So cast it because your mind matters and is the vision of the future. Imagine great.